I'm Anita Boland. I'm a member of Bridgeport Christian Church, and I am the local fiber artist. I'm here today to talk a little bit about spinning and the process that goes through it, and then I have a kid-friendly weaving project that we can do near the end. Basically, when you make yarn, you take it off the sheep, and this is what it looks like when it comes off the sheep. It's not washed, it's got a lot of stuff in it, so you have to wash it and comb it. And once it's washed and combed, you get a little bit better kind of fluff. And then you either card it into what's called a bat, which looks like this. You can blend fibers together. This happens to be wool and silk, which is a little shiny. The silk puts a little shine to it. Or you put it into what we call roving, which is a little easier to deal with. And basically I spin with either wool from sheep or alpaca fiber, because that's what I have, and I like that. You can do plant fiber. This is dyed hemp, which was grown in Kentucky. You can also spin with it. It's plant fiber. And this happens to be a little bit of cotton, which I have not ever spun because I don't have the equipment for it, but it's kind of neat to look at. So we're going to sit down here with a little bit of gray alpaca from, it's Kentucky bred, so we're doing all Kentucky stuff today. And to start, you spread out the fiber just a little bit. It's called just preparing your fiber to make it a little bit easier for the spinner to spin. Drafting, you draft the fiber. You connect it to a lead that's on your bobbin. Let's see if I can do this with my shoes on. I've been finding out over the quarantine a little bit more about the physics of spinning. Spinning requires you to have ratio and tension and speed and resistance and friction, all those nice science terms, working together at the right rate. Ratio, speed, friction, all of that's working together. What you're doing is you're putting a twist in your yarn. If you've ever twisted your hair, if you cut that twist off, it would be like yarn. And the spinning actually puts the twist in the yarn. The different fibers have different crimps in them. And depending on how much wave or cramp is what the actual term is, makes it easier to spin. That's why cotton, which has no crimp in it at all, is harder to spin than wool, which, depending on the breed of the sheep, will be easier to spin. Alpaca has a little bit of cramp, not much. So most people do not start out spinning with alpaca. I did. I gave it a, went back to wool and then started spinning alpaca about 3 years ago. But you can see it's a, once you get your feet, making sure that the wheel is going at the same ratio and your hands going, you can basically make yarn. And you can check by stopping, pulling a little up, putting it back together, and that will be how thick your yarn is if you ply it together. When you're learning, it can be lumpy bumpy, thick and thin. Once you get better, it's more consistent, more even, and then you try to go back to being lumpy bumpy, and sometimes you can't do that. But that's basically spinning in a nutshell, is you're just taking the whatever fiber you're working with, either animal or plant, and twisting it. The machine does a lot of the work. You just have to kind of keep it simple and even, and twisting it to make it stronger and more pliable. When you do that, you can do different things and combine, and you can have, this is alpaca yarn from 4 different alpaca fleeces in different colors, because they come in different colors, and you have dark brown and gray and light brown and white all in here. So that's alpaca yarn. This is a combination of wool dyed, and it's more of a chunky size. This is a single, it hadn't been plied yet, bright yellow wool. This happens to be wool and has a little silk in it. It has some sheen, some shine to it. And then this is dyed alpaca. So if you're a knitter or crocheter, if you start spinning, you can make your own yarn and kind of get what the colors and the amounts that you want to do your project, and you don't have to go and buy it. You can make it yourself, which is what I've been trying to do and get started on doing. My problem is I don't want to knit it into anything. Once I get it done, I just hang it over in my room and look at it. But if you don't want to get into spinning, we do have a very simple and easy thing that most kids can do. I did this as a child. And I'm sure a lot of parents did this as a child. It's pot holders. What I've done now, because I didn't necessarily want a lot of pot holders, but I enjoy doing this, sitting and doing this, is I made a rug. I did 15 pot holders and then sewed them together. And I now have a rug for my kitchen floor that I can take and throw into the washer and dryer. And it's made out of cotton, which is pretty, it's actually made out of cotton and elastic socks. It's the remnants when they, machine-made socks that you go and buy in the store. So the tops of your socks are recycled into rugs. And if you've ever done any weaving at all, it's basically very simple process to start with. You go over and under, all the way across. Let's see. So you take a little tool, and you go over and under, all the way across, hook your loop on, pull it back through, push it close together, and then the next row you would alternate and you go over under again. And that's, it's pretty easy. You can do different patterns. But that's, if you look at your clothes that you're wearing, most of them are woven nowadays, and that's basically all that the machine is doing, is going over and under, back and forth, weaving your fabric. But you can do, pot holders for parents for Christmas presents. You can make yourself a rug. I've seen these sewn together in purses, wall hangings, just different things. And they're, you can get just about any colors that you want. And you can find them online or in stores in Frankfurt.
Well, we're gonna walk this road to glory, children, my Lord and I. We're gonna walk and tell the story, children, my Lord and I. When I come to the river wide, the blessed Lord is gonna calm the tide. We're gonna walk this road to glory, children, my Lord and I. Yes, we're gonna walk this road to glory, children, my Lord and I. We're gonna walk and tell the story, children, my Lord and I. Rain or shine, snow or sleet, blessed Lord, guide my feet. We're gonna walk this road to glory, children, my Lord and I. Such is my consolation, my burden's out of the way. The Holy Spirit guides me as I travel day by day. I just pull into the station and I get a full supply. Well, we're gonna walk this road to glory, children, my Lord and I. We're gonna walk and talk all the way to glory. Gonna walk and tell the blessed old story. Walk and talk all the way to glory, my Lord and I. When I come to the river wide, the blessed Lord is gonna calm the tide. We're gonna walk this road to glory, children,